What's up, everybody? How y'all doing on this fine Monday, December 9th, 2024? Little toasty outside, but that's going to change. Wait 5 minutes. It's winter.
It's going to be 19 degrees on Thursday.
That's going to be cold. Guess I won't be stepping out of the house.
I was outside in all this today. In the rain almost all day.
Ew.
Washing trucks from plowing last week.
Ah.
Washing all the salt and shit off of them.
Well, you had to first do all the plowing, then you got to wash off the plows.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're just chilling.
Let's see if Sam actually shows up tonight, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I went into his show earlier to poke at him.
Yeah, I noticed. Well played. Very well played. So we'll just get right into the gravy, man. It is what it is.
Well, hold on, because I want to talk about something else first, because they're talking about it in there, because they were talking about the Eagles and the notion of yesterday being a trap game. And somebody said, well, don't you know what a trap game is? I said, I absolutely know what a trap game is, but that wasn't a trap game. A trap game is, I'll use it in college terms. Week 5, Texas plays Oklahoma. And then immediately following goes into a week where they play somebody like Tulane or UTEP or UTSA, someone much lower than them that they should absolutely mop the floor with, and then they lose. That's why it's a trap, because you lost. The Eagles didn't lose yesterday. No, they played down to their opponent and played poorly. That's why it wasn't a trap game. And Sam, they still won. But Sam keeps going, we beat the Ravens. We beat the Ravens. And I said, quit hanging your hat on that win. You know why? Because the Browns beat the Ravens.
Yep, and the Eagles still have to play the Steelers too.
And the Commanders beat the Ravens, if I'm not mistaken. Or it was a very close game.
It was close.
So let's not pretend that the Ravens are the 17-0 New England Patriots. It's not a, you know what I mean? It's not a win that made your season. You're supposed to be that. You're supposed to be that good. With the offensive weapons that you have and the defensive prowess that you have, you're supposed to be that good. You shouldn't be battling it out with the Carolina Panthers, who didn't they fire their head coach already this year? They fired their head coach and their GM.
Not the Panthers. No.
Didn't they fire somebody in the front office?
The Bears and the Saints and the Jets have all whacked their head coaches. The Panthers coach is brand new this year.
Didn't they whack somebody in the front office for the Panthers already? Didn't they whack the GM or somebody?
That's the Bears.
The
And
Bears?
I'm sorry, the Jets. That's
The
the
Jets.
Jets. The
Okay.
Jets took out the GM and the coach. They took out the coach first, then 3 weeks later.
But you're
took out-
talking about an organization that has terrible office management, terrible coaching, a not great roster, and a rookie quarterback. That they benched. They benched him, and then they brought him back. Remember? So
and he's been playing better since that. So
sure, but let's not pretend that again. This is let's not pretend that he is second year Peyton Manning or Jim Kelly or any of like the really good quarterbacks. No,
do you know how many people would have lost their ever living minds if the Eagles would have lost yesterday?
it was close.
Huh? Do what?
It was ridiculously close. It was a defensive stop and uh, and a successful uh, uh, offensive offensive drive from it not from the Eagles not walking out of there with the win. Now, can you imagine the amount of Nick Sirianni needs fired that would come out of Sam's mouth if the Panthers had won that game?
Oh, that would have been great.
But today we're talking.
Multiple Eagles fans have been saying that even when he's been winning.
But today we're sitting here talking about how we need to just enjoy this win, and I'm like, guys, you're missing the point. It's not that I hate the Eagles or I don't want people to enjoy a team's win, but like, did you watch the same game that I watched?
Oh, I was in and out, so
I watched. That game reminded me of top 10 Alabama going into 4-loss Norman, Oklahoma and losing.
okay. Yeah, I was watching it from Red Zone, so it was in and out, and they kept changing it back and forth between that and the Titans game.
It did the Eagles did not play well at all.
So
I mean,
Sam still should be losing his mind.
I don't know if I would say losing his mind, but like let's not pretend that this is the second best team in the NFC.
Okay.
At least by what I watched yesterday and what I've seen of them. If they were to go into Detroit and play Detroit right now for the NFC title, I think Detroit is at least a double-digit favorite.
Oh, without a doubt. I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that one bit.
All right, now we can talk about college football. Because let's get it out of the way.
Sorry, Bryce. Bryce was just roaming back in here, trying to fill me in on his grade status again. And the little booger's been doing pretty good. And it's just like we're trying to talk about football. It's like,
listen, kid, I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap about your grades.
Actually, I do.
I don't.
Actually,
George.
He's actually working.
Don't.
I know you don't.
I don't give a crap about his grades. Just like I don't give a crap about the state of Georgia.
Dude, that is.
I hope the next hurricane just floods that state and just makes it unlivable. I don't want anybody to get hurt or die. I just want them to have to move out of the state of Georgia.
I mean, you want to take out a stadium? What are you looking? What are you looking for?
I'm talking William T. Sherman March to the Sea. That's what I'm talking about, George.
Good Lord. Oh my God.
We're going from Atlanta. We're going from Atlanta to Savannah, and we just burning it all the way down. I was so mad Saturday afternoon. I was so mad, George. I don't get mad at football. I don't get mad at football anymore. I stopped getting mad at football, and I was so mad, and not because of the way Texas was playing. I was mad at that officiating crew because I watched a Georgia defensive lineman have a Texas offensive lineman by the face mask and drive him back, and Texas got called for holding.
Oh, it was so one sided. It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all. It
That's
was
the part.
disgusting.
That's the part I got mad at. And when Sark said, "Hey, maybe these guys will call Georgia for holding in the second half," and then walked away from the interview because I could see him getting ready to cuss. I don't, number 78, who is the starting left guard for Texas, was out. He tried to warm up, but his ankle he'd been out for the last 3 weeks with ankle issues. The Texas offense still outgained Georgia. They still were able to push the Georgia defense around. They were still able to outgain the Georgia offense. They had that game in hand. They really did. 8 penalties for 85 yards in the first half. Go watch the first 4 Texas drives. Anytime that Texas got beyond the 25-yard line, anywhere near the red zone, there was a flag thrown and it was an offsetting penalty that drove them back.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. What's up,
It
Sam?
was like I said, I'm not going to make an excuse for Texas losing that game. They lost. They lost to a backup quarterback in overtime on a fluke. Everybody missed him tackle. Dive into the end zone.
And the better of
And
the
it was in.
ETN brothers, brother. By the way,
Yeah.
much better. I'll
No,
say it. I'll definitely say it. The better of the two ETN brothers.
No discussion there.
but Georgia, Texas. It's not like Georgia beat Alabama or Georgia beat Tennessee or beat another SEC stalwart. Texas did something already that nobody else had done and made it to the SEC championship in their first year. No other team had done that in the conference. So I'll take, like, everybody was talking about how Texas was going to have 4 losses. They had 2 to the same team.
I was going to say, I thought for sure we were looking at them with only 1 loss, but you actually mentioned 2 losses. I don't
I
think
said
we
they'd
were
lose twice.
expecting it to be Georgia though.
I thought it would have been Oklahoma and Georgia. However, I the fact that they lost twice to Georgia doesn't bother me at all. I just really, really hope that everybody in that state gets diarrhea for like a day.
Oh my god. Wow.
Like I said, I don't want anybody to get hurt or die. I just want awful things to happen to them for like 24 hours. I hope somebody shits their pants on their way to work. If
Damn.
I want Kirby Smart to crap his khakis so bad that he has to turn around and go home, and his little visor blows off his head like Elmer Fudd in the Looney Tunes cartoons.
I came on here for a reason. This is Nick.
Hey, everybody else got to make fun of Texas. Now I get to like vent for a minute.
Go ahead.
Touche.
I don't even disagree with a thing you said. Like what says when it comes to the officiating in that game, I don't disagree with a thing you said.
I wasn't the everybody talked about what happened in the first game. Well, that only happened for a half. Georgia didn't out outgain or outdrive Texas in the second half of that first meeting. Everything that happened in the first half. So it to think that Texas couldn't have gone into Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the SEC title game and walk away with a win wasn't out of the realm of thought. And I thought that they were going to win. I thought it was going to be a 7-point or less win, but I thought that they were going to win. Did not think that they were going to have over 100 yards in penalties.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Almost triple what Georgia got. I want this proposed for next season. And I think many fans would agree. Just like they do in the bowl games, where they have the best officiating crews from the different conferences. I don't think an SEC crew should officiate the SEC title game.
No, usually it's an opposite conference official.
That was an SEC crew on Saturday.
It was?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I don't think an SEC
because usually they mix it up.
In the bowl games they do, but not in the conference championship games. And I think the conference championship games, I think a Big Ten crew or a ACC crew or whomever.
Yeah,
because a Mac. Yeah, give me some action. Give me some action.
That was a setup. Yes, it was. It was a setup on purpose. Darn right.
But
he wants that action in the SEC.
I do. Give me Kent State in the SEC. No. But I think that you should have different officiating crews from the different conferences do the title games, because I think it would reduce bias.
Listen, with that.
Somebody who normally has to deal with the idiocy of Penn State and Michigan or Ohio State or any of that, Big Ten dumb stuff, isn't going to tolerate the SEC dumb stuff. So, they're going to call it fair. You know what I mean? But everybody thinks that Clemson's just going to get the crap kicked out of them by Texas, and I don't think so. I think Clemson could beat Texas.
It's going to be a good game. This will be a very interesting matchup.
I think Clemson reminds me of the old Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Big 12 teams that Texas used to play. They have that fast, quick draw offense that gets the ball out and gets it around the field. So I think Clemson could really present problems to the Texas defense. The quick strike ability of Clemson makes me think that Clemson could beat Tech. The same with SMU and Penn State. I think SMU could beat Penn State. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but in that first round, I fully think that SMU could go into Happy Valley and beat Penn State.
Well, no shit. Look who Penn State's head coach is.
I was just going to say, I think anybody in the top 15 could beat James Franklin.
I will
Hey,
say,
buddy.
I said on my show, I will say this. I don't think Franklin coached as bad against Oregon that he did against Ohio State. Ohio State, he was outcoached the entire game. The only mistake Penn State made against Oregon was they tried to get into a passing shootout with Oregon early, and it cost them. Meanwhile, like what drove me nuts, Nick Singleton, first carry, 41 yards, doesn't touch the ball for the rest of that entire drive, settles for a field goal. You're not beating Oregon kicking field goals. And as good as Tom Allen and his defense have been this year, they were completely terrible on Saturday. They were killed in space. They couldn't tackle. They were terrible, and they made no adjustments. There was nothing they could do with all that speed.
Sam, that's the Big Ten way. 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Good point. Now, let me ask a question here. I'm only on here for a brief minute. I have a question. I need to ask something. I was in and out when you were talking about the Eagles game. Did you say we aren't the second best team in the NFC?
I did.
And please tell me who is the only team outside Detroit, who is better than the Eagles?
I said you don't play like the second best team.
Yes, we
do. And I said, no, you don't. When you do things like you did yesterday, when you let the Panthers hang around for as long as you let them hang around, you're not the second best team.
Bruiser, the Chiefs needed a last-second field goal to beat that same Panthers team 2 weeks ago. Does that matter? Does any of that matter?
The Chiefs also needed a last-second field goal yesterday to beat the Chargers.
The doink hurt around the world.
To the Panthers. The Chargers are a way better team than the Panthers.
Again,
the Chiefs are playing down to their competition.
The Chiefs have needed several last second field goals or touchdowns.
They've been playing like crap.
Yeah, they're playing awful. The Chiefs aren't the second or third best team in the AFC either.
The Chiefs
aren't the second.
Hang on. The Chiefs are the Wicked Witch of the West who went to Manhattan and got a $75,000 wedding dress. They're a 500 team hiding behind whatever the hell, 12-1 record?
Something like that.
Yep.
Did you just make a Wicked reference?
I did.
Yes, he did.
Yes, I'm so proud of you. I'm going to see that movie tomorrow.
Oh, congrats.
I can't wait. Things you may not know about Big Ol' Bruiser here is he's quite the musical fan.
That's ain't nothing wrong with that.
Not wrong with that.
Nope, not at all.
Phantom of the Opera is my favorite because I've seen that live.
I've heard a lot of people who enjoy musicals make that statement.
I got to see it. I got to see it at the Kennedy Center in DC.
Oh, well, that just won up to everything. It's like, well,
it was pretty cool. But no, look, I may make fun of you a lot, Sam. However, the one thing I will say, well, this is true.
Mostly Adam.
You keep touting the Ravens win, and I will remind you, sir, that the Browns beat the Ravens.
Yes, because the NFL is a week-to-week league. Anybody can beat anybody.
I made the point in your chat that you are not judged by the teams that you are comparable to, but by the teams that you should beat. And some dude in there said that yesterday was a trap game. No, the trap game is when you have a game like the Ravens and then immediately play like the 2015 0-16 Lions and then lose to them. That's a trap game.
Like the Browns game
Okay.
almost was.
And I'm gonna paraphrase what I threw in the chat, in the show chat yesterday, which is they're all trap games when you play down to your competition. That's what the Eagles did. They were not up for that game. They were meandering, and it almost bit them in the ass.
Yes, and like
Twice.
I literally said this though. They are coming off. I don't care if we're pandering or not. Heading into this final stretch, the toughest game left on their schedule was the Ravens. Go look on Fox. Go watch CBS when they do their little analyst picks, and all the analyst picks pick the Ravens. Go look at it all. They were riding a mile high, higher than freaking Denver after that win. They did not get up for the Panthers game. 100%.
But there was a game in between. There was a game in between the Ravens and the Panthers, though. That's the problem.
No, there wasn't. The Ravens was just last week.
You said it was 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
No, it was last week. They were in Baltimore. It was at Baltimore. Yeah.
But he said 2 weeks ago. So if it's 2 weeks ago, there's a game in between.
No. It was the Panthers this week, and last week was the Ravens.
Yeah. And
there's no game in between.
No, yeah, they played.
There was no game in between.
No.
Then it wasn't 2 weeks ago, it was a week ago.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Either way.
Thank you. That was my point.
But the fact that so you're saying they're not playing like the second best team in the NFC based off of just yesterday. Well, what about the 8 games prior to that?
I've watched them play. They do not play like the second best team.
When have they not?
They didn't play like the second best team against the Browns. They didn't play like the second best team against the Panthers. They didn't play like the second best team against the Commanders. They didn't play like the second best team against the Giants.
Bruiser. They beat the Giants 28-3.
They beat the Giants 28-3.
The Commanders. They beat the Commanders.
Score is not indicative.
Oh no.
The first Giants.
No.
Did they played the Giants twice, right?
No.
Giants haven't come here yet.
No.
Giants have to come to Philly later on.
The games they lost to the Falcons 22-21. They played the Saints and only won 15-12. They lost to the Bucks 33-16, and then almost lost to the Browns. They won 20-16. And the Jaguars, they won 28-23.
In that game, I blame on Sirianni for not taking points.
Yeah, but they're the second best team in the NFC. Come on. They're the second best team in the NFC. Look at all that. Look at all that.
Okay. And
you can't have it both ways, Sam.
Okay, but have they not blown the Bengals out by 20? Have they not? What about the Rams, who just had the shootout of the century with the Bills? They held them to 20 points, beat them by 17, which it would have been worse if Cooper Kupp didn't get a last-second touchdown. You're talking about the Commanders game. The Commanders scored a touchdown with 12 seconds left in that game to make it 26-18.
Yeah. I was going to say, that's the garbage time touchdowns.
They have dominated their opponents almost throughout this entire win streak. Some garbage time touchdowns make it look better. The Commanders were never in that game. They dominated them. They dominated the Giants like they're supposed to. They dominated the freaking Cowboys like they were supposed to. As bad as the Bengals defense is, yes, the Bengals still have one of the top 5 offenses in the league with Burrow and Chase. Go look at their numbers. They are top 5 in almost every category, and they held them to 17.
Kind of like Mike's comment. Sirianni, Mount Union bum.
Hey! Yeah. You leave Mount Union out of this.
Yeah,
Unless you have gone.
Philly's got
Listen.
the Steelers next, and then Washington, then Dallas, in Philly. You got Pittsburgh in Philly. You go to Washington, then you have Dallas and the Giants also in Philly. So you've only got one road game left.
First of all, you leave hold on. You leave Mount Union out of this because unless you've gone to party at Mount Union, you got nothing to. Mount Union's awesome. That's a fun school to go party at because it's in the middle of nowhere alliance and it's fun. So you leave Mount Union out of this.
That's a Muskegon dude right there.
Hey, they're partying hard. Hey, they're partying hard over in Athens though this week. I have relatives that graduated. My aunt graduated from Mount Union, and I had friends that went to Mount Union. And the place where I trained to be a professional wrestler at was in Alliance, right down the street from the Mount Union campus. So when we had shows, we'd go party afterward on campus.
So that explains the love.
Yeah, Mount Union's fun. But hey, listen, the last time that the Ohio Bobcats won a conference championship, man had not walked on the moon. 1968 was the last time that the Bobcats won a conference title.
Okay, trivia question.
Does it involve the Eagles?
No, unfortunately.
It is leaving.
Name. Okay, as of now, I think because Iowa State did it. Iowa State got 10 wins this year, which is the first time the school has reached 10 wins in a season. There is now only one Power 4 school that has never reached 10 wins in a season.
What? Vanderbilt.
I guess it wasn't that good of a trivia question. But yeah, you're right. Vandy is the only school that has never hit 10 wins in a season out of the Power 4.
I had to think about that because I was like, they were really close to 1 year. I think they got like 9 wins.
At one point early this season, you thought, hey, there might be something here to this Vandy team.
George, can I rebut to this comment? This is the exact point that I'm trying to make. The one thing you will not get a disagreement out from me is this: we are the worst, not only about the first half, we're the worst first quarter team I've ever seen in my life. But the fact that we somehow still can kick a team's ass after pulling off of these first quarter shenanigans, that's unheard of. Like, for Christ's sake, do you know who the leading rusher in the NFL is? It's Saquon Barkley. Do you know who the fourth leading rusher in the NFL is? It's Saquon Barkley in the second half of games.
He's not going to be running very fast when his kneecaps get bitten.
Oh, you're trying to start that. We're still a little too early on that. Bruiser's trying to start setting that matchup.
Don't worry. That matchup, though weeks and weeks away, it's coming. The question is, where is it going to be?
It'll be indoors.
Be in Detroit.
Something tells me it's going to be indoors.
We just saw the Eagles schedule, okay? Detroit's is not nearly that friendly, starting with this coming week against Buffalo.
Like our biggest game remaining.
Take notes of what
Pittsburgh.
the Rams did.
I think if the Bills had beaten the Rams, you might have a better shot at winning.
Yeah, now you got Josh Allen pissed off.
Yeah, I think you got a very. Are you playing in Buffalo?
Is it in Buffalo or in Detroit?
Hang on a second.
If it's in Detroit, hold on a second.
I want to say it's.
Can we call the game Thanos because it's inevitable?
It is. It's home. It's Detroit. It's in Detroit.
Oh, well then you're all right.
I will say this: does anybody think that Allen is not winning MVP now after this week's game?
Let's see what
No.
Saquon does.
Mr. History Maker.
I was gonna say, let's see what Saquon does over the next couple of weeks.
No, I think after what happened yesterday, that's over and done with now. They'll never give it to a damn running back. If Josh Allen.
Here you go, Sam. I'll let you have at it. I'm done. I'm done with him and the Russ thing. He's got too many dad jokes.
Good luck with that.
No, Russ is not cooking.
We're not the Browns.
I was going to say, Cooper DeJean, make Russ look like the Denver Broncos Russell Wilson. Please. Would love to see the Steeler fans hit that wall of reality. Oops. Sorry, this is what happens when you play a real football team. Oh,
I think the Steelers can beat the
Here
Eagles.
he goes. Here he goes. Here we go.
I think the Steelers can beat the Eagles.
Of course you do. Can you name something the Steelers are better at than the Eagles?
It's not that they do anything better. It is that
Hang on. I got one. They have a better head coach.
Do they?
Yes.
Do they? Okay.
Wow.
How many Super Bowl rings has Sirianni got?
Okay. Tomlin had won one how many years
That's
ago?
all I'm giving them. That's the only thing I'm giving the Steelers.
I was going to say,
they have a better head coach.
That's the only thing you can give them.
And if you're giving them that, it's literally like this. It's like this.
Tomlin's also never had a losing season.
It's not by much.
It's not.
And I've been I'm to know better.
I feel I should be insulted right about now.
I was
right.
I thought about that for him. I was like, wait a minute.
I'm not a Lions nor am I a Michigan fan, and I was like, that hurts a little.
I was gonna say, and Rod's up in your neck of the woods too, Dave. So
Give my team's names out of your mouth.
The thing. I think that the Steelers can beat the Eagles, not because they have a better offense or a better quarterback. I will agree that they do have a better head coach. The Steelers, however, are like a horror movie villain, and that the moment you think that they're dead, they come back and keep coming at you. And they're one of those teams that just keeps coming. And I don't think the Eagles have the killer instinct to put the foot on the throat and choke them out in the first quarter. They don't have it. They don't have it in them to get them down by 17 points and then never let them up.
No, they don't. The first quarter always sucks.
That's what I mean by I think that.
Yeah,
that is what I mean by.
There's two problems with that. One, there's 3 more quarters to play, and 2, if the Eagles don't score in the first quarter with the way their defense has played all season, neither are the Steelers.
You don't know that. But like I said, I didn't say that the Steelers were going to blow out the Eagles. I didn't say the Steelers were going to beat the Eagles. I said I think they could.
This is a defensive matchup altogether. I don't care how good Saquon Barkley's been. This is a defensive dogfight on Sunday.
And I think the Steelers are better at those as an organization.
No, there's no disagreement there. I would like to go back to what Rod said, saying that Mike Tomlin's top 5 right now in the league, and that's just not true whatsoever. He's good, but he's not top 5.
And here's the Steeler fan, by the way, my buddy Mike.
Mike Tomlin is a first ballot Hall of Fame coach.
No argument.
What's Pittsburgh got left besides Baltimore again?
The Eagles, Baltimore.
Will they have Cincy again?
Yep.
Hang on.
At Philly, at Baltimore, home Kansas City, home Cincinnati.
Ooh.
Yeah, they got a
Chiefs.
Yeah, but like,
they got the
here's the
Chiefs.
thing. Here's the thing. The only team like Kansas City, we've just talked about it, right? They're literally a few plays away from being a 500 team. I understand it's in Baltimore, but and I'm not trying to credit more from that game, but like there's only two defenses this year that have completely made Lamar Jackson look taken completely out of the game. It's Philly and it was Pittsburgh. And then they're home for the final game against Cincinnati. If they're even playing for something by then, they're going to score 40 again because Cincinnati's defense might as well just be a bunch of Pop Warner kids. You can make a case that Pittsburgh could win either 3 out of 4 or all 4 of these remaining games.
Or lose and go 2-2.
That's also true.
Because what happened to Pittsburgh last year? They fell apart in the end. They fell apart.
Well, so did we. Also, you got to ask: will the league let the Steelers beat the Chiefs? That's the other thing we got to ask ourselves: will the league let the Steelers beat the Chiefs?
Oh, by the way, if they haven't taken it down, they might have. I think it was on TikTok. Somebody put a slow-mo video up of the Chiefs field goal kick from last night.
Oh my
and said
God.
it was hey, hold on, just wait. And said it was a conspiracy that the NFL had a remote in the football that caused a magnet in the football to be attracted to the post. And that is why the Chiefs won.
I was gonna say it was only a matter of time until we got to drone in the football.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Oh my God.
I saw it popped up this morning, and I was like, oh my God. And then I went looking for it again this afternoon because I was going to throw it in the chat, and I can't find it.
Yeah, no, Baltimore won't, especially if they'll be on the cusp of the Chiefs on top of it. So,
yeah, but I still think that I said before, and now I'm even going to give Pittsburgh more credit. Before last week, there's only one defense I've seen like completely take the Ravens' offense out of their own hands, and it's Pittsburgh. Tomlin is the only coach consistently because I know I'm saying Philly, but Philly doesn't play Baltimore all the time. Pittsburgh plays them guaranteed twice a year. The only coach that I've ever been able to see make Lamar Jackson look completely uncomfortable, it's Mike Tomlin. He's the only coach I've seen him do it to Lamar Jackson consistently.
Well, that's the rivalry. That's the
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But Cincinnati doesn't do it to them, and they're in the same division. It's literally Pittsburgh is just that damn good defensively against Lamar Jackson.
and Cleveland and Cincy usually will split one.
Yeah. Have any of the AFC North teams already played each other twice?
Baltimore still has Pittsburgh and Cleveland. The last week of the season, they'll play each other. Okay. Pittsburgh will play Cincy. Cleveland will play Baltimore.
We still have to go to Baltimore.
Yeah, that's just fucking.
There's no defense. That was kind of scary in that game.
That's their fault. That's Cincinnati's fault. They gutted that defense since the Super Bowl.
All right. Bring up the bracket.
Hang on. We were discussing NFL defense. I just want to show a graphic real quick. And pardon the crudity of my graphic. I just created it.
Go for it.
I want to spend 2 minutes talking about Detroit and their defense and what they actually accomplished this past game.
Is it how they're taking Oshkosh Bagosh and any different piece of fabric that they can find to plug the holes and making it work?
Let me just real fast here. We have the 2 deep roster for the defense at the start of the season. You got your number 1, number 2 at each position, right? You got your 4 linemen, your 3 linebackers, your defensive backs. Do you want to know who was available to start the game this week?
I would say two of those players.
Aleem McNeil. Oh, fill in, thank you. And Jack Campbell. As far as the front 7, we're not going to talk about the defensive backs. Out of your front 7, 2 started that game healthy and could play, and you lost Aleem McNeil in the first half, not to return.
They showed that graph. Graph Sunday about the how many players the Lions had just injured. And I was like, oof. That's oof.
And this was Jack Campbell, your rookie from last year, who suddenly had to lead the entire defense.
Did he get a captaincy next year?
I would think so. I mean, he's still going to be behind Anzalone, though. So
got Brian Branch.
Brian Branch, I mean, assuming he can keep himself on the field and healthy, and because my God, the hits that he lays on people.
Well, that's like CJ Gardner. That's like CJ Gardner Johnson. He knocked himself out twice yesterday.
Yeah, right. Honestly, I don't even know the linebacker's first name. I know his last name is Turner. I think he was probably like the 4th or 5th string linebacker that we had. Game-saving tackle in open field on Jordan Love. Tracked him down, grabbed his arm, and climbed up his back and threw him down face first into the turf. Just literally, that could have been the end right there. And I'm not even going to get into the Dan Campbell and the balls of steel going for it on 4th down at the end of the game when you could have just kicked the field goal.
At the end of the game. How about every damn time?
That's fine every time.
I'm sorry. Do you guys have a punter? Is there a punter on your team?
He's actually considered one of the.
He has the best job in the NFL.
He's one of the best punters in the NFL.
How would you know?
Because we've used him before in previous seasons.
Matthew. No, real quickly.
In previous seasons. I love that.
Wait, before
in previous seasons.
Yeah, we won 3 games. He was punting like crazy. But since Dan Campbell got here, we don't even know he's here. We think we only have 52 men on the roster on game day.
Oh, I love it. I know I said in the chat, I was like, hey, Campbell said, screw it. He's throwing the NFL out the window. He is playing Madden. He is playing Madden for real.
Well, wait. I want to get Zol. I want to tell this, Zol. Did you see what was said about Dan Campbell the next day by a certain? Well, me and Tyler addressed this on our show earlier today, and because we can't stand, this is why I hate the criticisms that Sirianni and Campbell get as being aggressive coaches. I get sometimes, it's mostly during the game, feel for the game when you do it. But Rob Parker decided to go on and compare Dan Campbell and saying he is as bad of a coach as Brandon Staley was when he was with the Chargers.
Wait. Detroit Parker? Rob Parker?
Yeah.
That Detroit columnist Rob Parker?
Oh, you know him too, huh? You know him too, huh?
Everyone knows this idiot.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna say this
I've had my personal run-ins with him once or twice.
as
I
far
didn't
as
know Bruiser knew him.
the other
Oh wow, Bruiser's like I got stories.
the
Oh
fourth
man.
down with 43 seconds to go or whatever that he chose to go for it instead of just kicking the field goal to take the lead. I don't want to say in hindsight is a genius move. It's a genius move to begin with, assuming you make it, obviously. But you're not going to put your defense back out there giving Green Bay the time that they need to go down the field. And I showed you the graphic. That defense wasn't stopping him in the second half. It just, at that point, everybody was tired. They went on adrenaline in the first half. Second half, Green Bay was just walking all over him. No, he made the first down and killed the clock and kicked the field goal to win. It was the perfect move to do.
According
The
to Rob
best.
Parker, he's just reckless. It's reckless.
Hey, listen. You're biting kneecaps. You kicking people in the teeth. It's fine. Whatever.
This
Also,
team.
the
Go ahead, Bruce.
the best video to come out of that game was the video of Annie Agar and her brother on FaceTime
Oh my god.
watching the
Yeah.
ending together, and her just throwing the phone down and yelling fist, and she walked away.
Yeah,
And
I was just saying
you
that's
can pull it
awesome.
up,
Yeah.
dude. It is
She's got
hysterical.
her- Yeah, she had to wear the Green Bay Sucks sweatshirt. She lost the bet to her brother, so she was wearing her Green Bay Sucks sweatshirt after the game, and she had to wear it on her podcast today. I was like, oh, I bet you she just can't wait to burn that sucker. Poor Annie. That poor girl's so conflicted.
I love the stuff with her and her brother. I think it's awesome. I laugh all the time at it, especially like when he starts talking trash at her because she can't talk. Like, you're gonna make fun of a handicapped guy?
And you know she wants to. She's just like, oh.
As far as Dan Campbell being reckless, let me just say this. This team was built for 4th and 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, that is Dan Campbell's style. I mean, I don't care what the down is. It's a yard. I'm going to get it.
Yeah, 4th and 3, 4th and 4. It doesn't matter. It can be 4th and 5. He's going for it because he knows he can get it.
Well, yeah, that's because if it's
Cleaning
4th
the oven.
and 5, it's literally those running backs aren't going to get touched before 6 yards.
Oh,
Okay.
and if Froghead wins, it wouldn't bump its ass when it hopped.
Yeah, I'll let you address it. Go ahead. Dan Gamble, Jesus, how bad are the sports writers getting up there, Dave? That's starting to scare me.
Everybody's got to take their shots at the 12 and 1 team.
Jesus, Christopher.
We wanted to run the Fords out of town, burn down Ford Field, and sell it off when when you lost. When you were 0-16 and then 1-15. Couldn't wait to get rid of the Lions, and now they're 12-1 and building towards a possible Super Bowl team. And we just can't take those risks. It is fleeting. Success in the NFL is fleeting. Enjoy it. Enjoy the damn ride. I would love to sniff an AFC title game as a Cleveland fan. I would love to talk about the Browns in the Super Bowl in this same sentence and not follow it up with they'll never get there.
He ain't lying.
I'm Jesus. Okay. Look. I understand the argument, hey, take the points and blah blah blah, this happens, that happens, the other things. Or you go for it, you don't get it, you take your lumps, and you come back and you make the team good enough to do what you want it to do.
But that's exactly what they are doing.
Yes, you are literally enforcing your will on other teams. And that's exactly a Dan Campbell team. Nah.
Dan Campbell is the.
Okay.
All right. Can we just ignore that and actually talk about college football now?
I forgot who had the graphic. After he started, the Lions were what it was like something like 1-7, and then they've been like 30-3 or something since, and they're
30-8
or 30-8. That's right. And whoever had that stat, and that even beats the Chiefs and what they've done since then.
Since Dan Campbell took over the head coaching job as the Detroit Lions, they are 30-8.
I should have.
You guys change your little pictures.
Yeah, I'm moving it. There we go. You know
Bryce gets a jersey.
There we go. I'm sorry. I'm trying to adjust those. Just
So
for just a wee little bit.
I only have one complaint about the bracket.
Penn State, because I'm here.
No,
Okay.
I don't think that Arizona State should get the bye over conference champion Clemson when Clemson was ranked ahead of Arizona State.
No disagreement from me.
Yeah, I know.
And I'll just throw out there, all those in favor of reseeding after the first round say aye. Aye.
Oh, aye. For sure.
That's just one of those overlooked things.
They said that they're not going to reseed.
No, because it wasn't built into it.
No, but they're not going to do it next year either.
Bailey being because they handicap.
How did
He gets a shirt.
Rod? How did South Carolina didn't even qualify ever? You know what? Never mind. We're not talking to you anymore.
What's the matter?
This dude's talking about South Carolina, and they didn't even.
They weren't even close.
No.
They weren't even close.
And for everybody who is, what? SMU was the top 15 all year. Top 15 team all year. Shut up. So everybody was talking about how we're so glad Bama's not here. Bama's not in it. Bama's not in it. Bama was never going to be in it to begin with. It was a 3-loss Bama team that didn't even play for the conference championship. SMU was always going to be the choice over Bama. It just depended on if SMU or Clemson had a close loss.
Wow, really?
Hold on. hold on.
I got to bring ours into the mix. Well, like, and that's the power conferences now. That's what they set it up as. So you only get 4. Oh, that's an interesting point, Mike. Very interesting.
Who that favors? Teams that run the football well.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Arizona State is hosting Texas, and they play in the same climate. It's desert. Ohio State's going to Eugene, that has similar winter weather to ours. Ohio State's going to be at home. The Boise State is in the altitude. Happy Valley's also in the mountains. I think it kind of is a wash. The only one that is a little different is Georgia, but they're playing in Athens, and that's going to be a little bit warmer. And I think it actually kind of favors either Indiana or Notre Dame, because then they don't have to worry about staying warm. They can have a more up tempo offense.
That could be interesting.
Also, to the guy who was talking about the Gamecocks, your most impressive win on the year was a 3-point win over 16 ranked Clemson.
Look
Okay,
at
that's not enough.
the research department going to work there, baby.
Can we?
You
take
had
a second and
you
talk
had
about
a
the idiot in Alabama talking about, oh well, we just need to make our schedule lighter since that's what gets rewarded.
Oh,
so
what about
you-
Herbie turning around and mentioning, oh, it needs to be like the NFL. One person needs to create all the schedule for everybody.
so
No,
but
stupid.
I think you're taking Herb Street's comment out of context and not understanding what he's meaning by it. And also,
Oh,
I
I do.
understand what I understand what Saban is saying. I disagree with it because I think that you can see that for taking strong out of conference games, those teams are getting rewarded. Texas played Michigan and beat them, and even with 2 losses, never dropped out of the top 10. So, but with what Herb Street is saying is
He
and I
wants it
kind of agree
rigged.
with it.
He
He
wants it
doesn't want it
rigged.
rigged. No, he
That's
doesn't want it
exactly right.
rigged.
Yes, he does.
Shut up
Yes,
and
he
listen for a
does.
second.
So we should
George,
just sit
I
back.
love you. Just listen for a second. You have teams like Texas, USC, Notre Dame, the Gamecocks, who will take the lightest schedule possible to pad themselves with wins to get to the conference championship game and to stay relevant in the rankings all year. And what Herb Street and others are saying is that if you have an automated schedule that forces you to play at least 2 ranked top 25 teams, it increases the parity in the game and it makes the regular season more relevant. I'm not saying that they're going to do that, but I understand where he's coming from. And I even said it years ago that there should be a rule in scheduling where you have to play a top 25 team, at least one.
Well, the problem is year by year that's going to change. When do you set up your schedule? You've already set up your schedule for the next year already, so you can't do that on a prediction because you don't know
No,
where
but
that team is going to be ranked. That's the
no,
problem.
you're getting into a point where you have all of these um you're having all of these super conferences now. I mean, the Big Ten in the next 3 years might have 20 teams in it.
The Big Ten does have 20 teams. They do. They do.
No.
I looked it up. I looked it up yesterday. Is with certain sports, John Hopkins and Notre Dame are part of the Big Ten.
I'm talking about in football. I'm talking about in football. We're not talking about other sports. I'm not talking about water polo. I'm talking about football.
I'm just
Look,
reiterating a point.
we know the Big Ten and the SEC have had discussions, have had meetings together to discuss various things. I believe one of them is scheduling. Specifically, don't be surprised if the gigantic conferences only play conference games. And you know what? Our non-conference, well, we're now going to have a, 2-game agreement with the SEC to play 2 SEC teams next year, and the SEC is going to play.
Ohio State plays Texas next year.
But here's the other problem with that, because the other schools that benefit from playing those big schools, they are losing out the money. They're losing out that funds. They're losing out big time on that. They're losing out.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. I want to, Michael. Michael made a comment about needing to revisit the scheduling thing, and I want to say something. Yes, Indiana is better than Bama because Bama was favored by 24 over Oklahoma and went into Norman and lost by 21.
Bama played a garbage schedule. I'm saying it.
They did play a garbage schedule. You lost to 2.
South Florida, Mercer. and your those were wins. Your losses, unranked Alabama. Unranked Oklahoma, unranked Vanderbilt. And Tennessee. That was a quality loss.
Tennessee's a quality loss. But you can't.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you want to look at this setup, and it's already bruiser. Ohio State can't stop the damn run game to save their ass. Tennessee's going to literally walk right all over this, and it'll be Tennessee. And Oregon's going to even have the same problem because Oregon can't stop a run either.
Tennessee can't stop a pass.
Well, Ohio State and Chip Kelly have
game.
to actually turn around and try to throw the football to the wide receivers. We saw how crappy that looked against Michigan.
Bonehead
won't turn around and do it.
I understand what you guys are feeling and saying after the Michigan game, but I'm telling you, having watched Tennessee play a number of times this year, they're not as good as the number on their ranking. The Buckeyes can beat Tennessee, and I think that the committee is hoping for an Ohio State win to get a rematch in the quarterfinals of the Buckeyes in Oregon.
Oh, I'm sure, but I'm betting on Tennessee all day and twice on Saturday.
You're going to lose.
I don't think so. Because as long as you got stupid sitting there being the offensive coordinator, that dummy can't do squat when it comes to a playoff game.
Who was the head coach at Oregon?
Kelly's offense.
Who was the head coach at Oregon for all those years? It was Chip Kelly, right? So, you would know how to stop him.
How long ago was that?
I'm sorry. Chip Kelly can't coach his way out of a brown paper bag. That's why he's no longer a head coach anywhere. And don't make sure you got the right Kelly. If
they both suck.
I was going to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ryan Kelly's not that bad.
I think Day and Kelly are both gone.
Day's not going anywhere. Brian Kelly's not that bad.
You are hoping they're both gone.
Okay. Look, I'll take at least Kelly gone. Bounce that.
They're going
He
to
gotta
fire
go.
Ryan Day. They're going to
He gotta-
fire Ryan Day and announce Chip Kelly as the head coach.
Oh no, I'm
Would
sorry.
love
Nope,
that.
that's it.
I
That's
would,
it.
as a Penn
That's
State
it.
fan, I would
That's
love
it.
that.
Nope, he's out. Nope, screw. That's it.
I gotta bring him back before he actually leaves.
Oh no, Rod.
You're
no.
lucky. You're actually lucky I was away from my computer getting ice cream and did not see George kick me, or I would have left.
Oh, wait a minute. You didn't say that on purpose? Oh, I know you got wrestling
Didn't.
playing in the background.
Wrestling's over. Wrestling's over, but they're also, yes, they're going to fire Ryan Day and hire Chip Kelly. That's why Chip Kelly's there as the offensive coordinator.
No. It'll be Heartland.
Yes.
It'll be Heartland.
No.
Oh,
Yes. Just as much as it's going to be
Joe-
Bill Belichick coaching North Carolina.
No.
George, as
no.
much as I hate to say this, if agreeing with Adam is the worst thing I could ever do in my life, agreeing with Bruce is probably the second. If they fire Ryan Day, it will be Chip Kelly.
I
Because
don't think
they
so.
will.
Dude,
Now,
he's
again,
the one who's doing the offensive play calling. Day is a defensive
know.
guy. So, like
And
I said, the offense.
I know, but
blows.
Day's also the head coach. So it will be that Day is overruling the genius of Chip Kelly.
No, he doesn't.
there is no genius in that man's head.
There's, yeah, I
y'all,
can't
y'all
believe
are
it's a
missing. You're missing the big picture, the giant signing, the one that's going to have the fan base just ready to go, and that's when you bring out of the play-by-play box Kirk Herbstreit to come
Oh
run your
Jesus!
organization.
Oh my God! That dude's already banned from Columbus. There are state troopers that know that he's not allowed in Columbus. That's why
Okay,
he's not
well-
been anywhere near Columbus since his banning.
All right, let's stop being jokesters. What's Urban Meyer up to?
That's already come out that he would entertain the idea of coming back to Ohio State. I mean,
He would
until the
like
next
entertain
blonde
some
waitress.
people at the bar too.
Exactly.
Now you guys can
No.
have that.
No, he'll just come back and then wait for the another shit NFL franchise to call him like the Jags.
He'll finally take that Browns head coaching job.
Now that'd be Vrabel.
Vrabel's taking is going to be the Bears coach. I think they keep bringing him up.
Nah, that's why the Browns brought him in this year.
You got.
He also denied all rumors. Hold on.
Currently with Cleveland.
Hold on, Rod. He also denied all rumors that he wasn't going to the NFL, and he also denied all rumors that he wasn't gonna quit. And both of those things did.
He also denied all rumors of being in that bar with that young lady.
Right. Right.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So pick your
After your
winners.
first round,
Pick
I
your
think it'll
winners.
be Texas. I think it'll be Texas and Arizona State, Ohio State and Oregon. Say Penn State and Boise State, and Indiana and Georgia.
Okay. And what do you got for your semifinals then?
Texas and Oregon, Boise State and Indiana.
Ooh. And your national then would be?
Texas and Boise State.
Interesting. Oh, Rod says, wait, I thought SMU was good because Penn State is terrible.
I didn't say Penn State was terrible.
So between Boise and Texas, then you got Texas winning it all?
No, actually Boise State.
Interesting. Sam, what do you think?
First of all, let me just point out one thing. If Boise State wins the damn national title, then I think the fucking Heisman is a no contest.
Well, the Heisman gets awarded next weekend.
Sorry, Colorado fans. All right, so
I didn't know that kid was still involved in the conversation. Thought the other two were the big top two.
Oh, are you talking about Travis Hunter? Travis Hunter will be in just because Dion won't shut up about him. Real quick, do you know what Deion Sanders and all this crap reminds me of? It reminds me of LeVar Ball when Lonzo Ball was coming to the NBA.
Oh.
It is the exact same crap.
That's an
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Well played.
All right, so I have for the first round, I have Texas beating Clemson. I have Tennessee beating Ohio State. I have Penn State beating SMU. And this is the game that I'm still stuck on.
That's the one I wouldn't mind taking a little road trip and going to watch.
They're the same team.
I'm gonna take Notre Dame over Indiana. So for my quarterfinals, I will have.
Shut up, Mike.
All right, so I'll have Texas beating Arizona State. Oregon will beat Tennessee. Ashton Genty may run for 400 yards against Penn State's defense. And I'm not even kidding because you saw what Oregon did to him. Ashton Genty may run for 400 yards over them. I have Boise State beating Penn State. And then now I'm assuming, right? I still don't know. I'm assuming Carson Beck is not going to be ready to play for Georgia, right?
They said that if you listen to the commentary Saturday night, they let it slip hairline fracture in the lower part of his arm.
Okay, so then I'm going to have. All right, so then I will have. So then I have Notre Dame beating Georgia because I just don't. Now Notre Dame can pull a Notre Dame and choke again, but I'm not let Carson Beck not play. All right, so then I would have. So Texas would play Oregon in the semifinals. Unfortunately, I'm going to have Oregon winning that game. Oregon moves on, and then it will be Boise State versus Notre Dame. And I am going to give that. Oh, see, this is tough. Ashton Genty is ridiculous. Notre Dame, I think, is a solid team. But I think I'm going to have to give the edge to Boise State just because of how freaking good Ashton Genty is. And so that means I have Oregon versus Boise State, and I'm going to go with the Ducks.
So here's the thing. Your national championship game is going to end up as one of two games. It's either going to end up Texas and Boise State, Oregon and Boise State, Oregon and Georgia, or Texas and Georgia again. You have the possibility of having one of two rematches in the national title game.
I know it's highly unlikely, but how funny would it be? It's
For
not gonna
Texas
happen
and Georgia to
because-
play each other?
No. What if we got Penn State and Ohio State?
Oh, oh my God. Oh, wow. Really?
It'll be
Really?
worse if you get
The ratings
if you get
will suck so bad.
Which
If you
coach
get Penn
comes up
State-
first?
if you get
there you
Penn
go.
State and Ohio,
It's a UCL injury for Beck.
I said that. As soon as I saw that play, sorry, George, I guess I got to do it to you on your show. As soon as I saw his arm get hit, I thought Brock Purdy. That was the first thing I thought of from a couple of years ago in the NFC title game.
If it ends up being Penn State and Ohio State in the national title game, it will be worse than when it was Alabama and LSU and that 9-7
Oh
barn
God.
burner of
Oh,
a national champ.
yeah, that was horrible. God, that was horrible. That was really bad. Zolt, hang on. Let's me and Zolt get in on ours here. Go ahead, Zolt.
All right. Texas beats Clemson. Ohio State beats Tennessee. Penn State manages to knock off SMU. God help me, Notre Dame wins. Your semis, Texas beats Arizona State. Oregon walks over Ohio State. Boise State takes Penn State to the house. Georgia beats Notre Dame. Oregon over Texas. Unfortunately, it is Georgia over Boise State. You have Oregon, Georgia. Take the over, and I'm taking Oregon, and whatever the hell points you want, you can have.
Okay. I'm taking Texas as well. Tennessee beats up Ohio State. Penn State wins. Notre Dame wins. Notre Dame beats Georgia. Boise State wins. Oregon wins. Texas wins. Oregon beats Texas. Notre Dame beats Boise. And it's Oregon and Notre Dame, and Oregon whoops it.
All I'm saying is if Penn State gets by SMU, and it's a giant if, because again, it is James Franklin. If they get to Boise State, whatever the over is on Genty's rushing yards, smash that like you're Urban Meyer at a bar.
I think the only team in the 12 that Texas would have trouble with other than Georgia, because we played them twice and lost to them twice. I think Texas would legitimately have trouble with Boise. I think Texas can beat Oregon. I think Texas can beat Ohio State and Tennessee. I think Texas can beat SMU. I don't know if Texas can beat Boise. I think Boise is the quiet kid in the back of the class, silently listening to emo music and planning out his escape route for later in the year.
There is only one team in this that has a defensive front that could even compete with Genty, and it's Georgia, in my eyes. I don't know if any of these other teams can slow him down. The only one I think is possibly capable of it is Georgia. And that's because Georgia's front lines are always fucking amazing. I mean, hello, has anyone seen the film? Has anyone seen the Eagles? Our whole freaking line is Georgia.
Right.
That's
Georgia.
Georgia players.
Georgia has the problem though of getting there. Georgia will let Georgia will let teams that shouldn't hang around with them hang around with them. They did it.
Yep.
There's no reason that Georgia Tech and Georgia should have gone to 8 overtimes.
No. And Georgia Tech had many chances to just put it away. It was sad.
We were in week 2 of our season. We were either, I forget if we were tied or we only had 3.5 against Bowling Green.
Hold on a second. Hey, Rod, dipshit. I watch Texas every damn week. I know exactly what Texas's defense and front seven are. Say you don't know college football without saying you don't know college football.
No,
Who's talking about me?
yeah, he's not talking to you, Bruiser.
He's talking to me.
And I'm well aware of why Michigan is not in. I knew why they would not be in at approximately week 2 of the season. And frankly, we won our national championship this year.
Yeah, that was last
This
week.
is true.
It is very true.
It's true.
Like Georgia, there's no reason that game should have gone to 7 or 8 overtimes with Georgia Tech. There's no reason that Vandy should have hung around as long as they did against Georgia. There's Georgia has the issue of letting teams hang around for far too long, and if Georgia has to play an offense that can move the ball quickly, like a Boise State or even an SMU, Georgia's going to have a lot of problems. Because while they're big up front, they're not fast.
There was one other point I wanted to bring up too. Over the ignorance of the Alabama, celebration of life or celebration of season that happened on ESPN for 4 hours yesterday. The ignorance of their interviewing skills got worse when they interviewed the Oregon coach and they asked him, "Oh, is there a problem, because now you don't know who you're going to play against? How are you supposed to prepare for that?" Hey, stupid. Over the past several years, it's been the final 4 groups, and you still have to figure out who you're playing for game 1, and you don't know who you're going to play in game 2. So there's no damn difference. You just turn around and you just keep going like you normally would.
No, I get the question because you're going into the Final Four and you have to study film on 3 teams. Oregon right now, just to get to the national championship, has to study film on 5 teams or 4 teams. No, 5. I was right. They got to study film on Ohio State, Tennessee, Texas, Clemson, and Arizona State because they don't know who they're playing.
They already have Ohio State, so you can.
I understand that, but you still have to study the film. Still have to study film on 5 teams.
But you're not going to worry about that until after you've had to play one of your first 2 opponents.
You still have to study film on 2 teams for that, and then you have 3 teams that have the possibility. So you still have to get that information to your coordinators. So
look, when you get the film.
I understand the question. The question wasn't out of pocket. It wasn't a bad question. It was a decent question because now you are working in a pro style playoff system that you didn't have before in college football.
But as I said, you've already had to be practicing for it since you've been in the playoff before. So it's not like you're not going to be prepared.
Not to the level that you have to prepare now. I said it on Sam's show earlier. I think the only issue that I really have with the bowl selection committee is not putting a little bit of respect on Army's name for being an 11-1 conference championship and giving them at least a New Year's Six bowl. To think that Army was going to be in the national championship or not that, but the playoff is insane. However, let's put a little respect on Army's name and give them a New Year's Six bowl game.
I agree with you.
I agree with you too.
And it's just a shame that Army and Navy couldn't try to. I mean, they've been both.
God, how great would that have been if they were both undefeated?
Especially going into this week, that would have been awesome. That would have been great.
I mean, you could have, because they would have played each other for the conference championship game, because they're in the same conference. You could have had the conference championship game this weekend in the Army Navy game. Both teams undefeated with college game day there. How great would that have been?
And with those badass uniforms, no less. Hell yeah. That would have been awesome. It would have been a thing of beauty.
I don't think Oregon is your national champion this year.
Yeah, I agree. There was a robbery that occurred yesterday. I don't know if you guys heard about it. $765 million just like disappeared.
Happy Juan Soto Day.
Some guy bought the damn baseball stadium. It's now called the Juan Soto Stadium.
It's called Soto Field.
Soto Field.
How?
I mean, good Lord, that is $51 million per year.
How? You have 5 years left on the shitty Bobby Bonilla contract. Who signed that? Like, who looked at that and went, "Let's do it again"?
I think that's why. I think that's probably why. It's like, oh, wait a minute. This is where, this is wearing thin. It's like, well, we need to do something stupid again. What can we do now?
Yeah, that's just it. They saw the payment plan and they were like, oh, hey, we're almost at the end of this.
Yep.
We can put something else on the books now.
I just
honestly though, we all know who actually committed the robbery, and it wasn't Juan Soto. That was Mr. Scott Boras.
Yeah.
My God.
And he's
getting
like,
better.
It's like, dude,
I can't.
When Soto and Alonso both have the same agent, this is super scary.
I can't think that Soto is ever going to see a total of 765. Like, he's never going to see all of that money ever.
Hey,
when is his player's option? It's after 5 years.
Yeah,
and I get
yes.
And if he stays with the contract, he gets what, an extra $4 million per year, something like that.
It has to go from 51 to 55 million a year. Let me explain this. I have followed this situation closely since he turned down the 14-year, $440 million deal from the Nationals, which I wish I could fucking reject that type of money.
Right.
Does anybody, and George,
and this is why we need a salary cap in baseball.
Here's the thing with this guy. First of all, we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys of baseball here, first of all. Let's just point that right now. That's who the Mets are. They think they're relevant, but they're not. Has anybody ever heard of a 26-year-old superstar, which Juan Soto is a superstar baseball player. I don't think there's a lot of disagreement there. I have never seen a 26-year-old, barring free agency like a Machado or a Harper, be on 4 teams in 5 years. Nationals didn't want to do this. Padres didn't want to do this. Now, clearly the Yankees are trying, but still it didn't happen. But this is now his 4th team. I have followed this greedy son of a bitch ever since he was in Washington. If he has close to the year he had this year, which, by the way, Soto, your best year came last year. There's no Aaron Judge in that Mets lineup. They're expecting you to be that guy. Which, just real quickly also, I just found this funny thing, George. I just found this now. Here's the Mets' current starting lineup if the season started. It would be outfield Brandon Nimmo, Jose Siri, Juan Soto. Infield would be Brett Beatty, Francisco Lindor, Jeff McNeil, Mark Vientos, and Francisco Alvarez, with Starling Marte as your DH. If you take out Soto, Vientos, and Lindor, that's a whole lot of below average to me.
Yes, it is.
Not only that, if he has 5 years from now till 2029, when that opt-out can happen, remotely close to what he did with the Yankees last year, he will opt out, and he will ask for another contract, and he will ask you for $800 million to $900 million. Because he is that greedy. This is what Juan Soto has wanted ever since he turned down that Nationals deal. He wanted to find the team stupid enough to fill his bank account. And
He's the Kirk Cousins of the MLB.
You may be on to something with that. But here's the other problem, right? Let's look at the Yankees, right? The Yankees, if you look at the American League, they had it pretty easy in the playoffs. Orioles got bounced by the Royals. Astros, not really the Astros of a few years ago. They're kind of transitioning. A lot of guys are getting older. Bregman may not be there. Where do you think it was easier to get back to the World Series? The American League or now in the National League, where as of right now, you may be the 4th best team? Because if you look at the National League, you still have the Dodgers, who are still better than the Mets right now. The Padres, who actually may be the bigger threat to the Dodgers right now than the Mets. And then there's a difference. I think Jason Giambi actually liked the game of baseball.
Yeah. Soda just likes money.
And then you still have to, as much as I know what happened last year, if they're still healthy, the Phillies are still in there, still have that team together. Regular season, I don't care. The Phillies are still there. The Braves are going to be healthy next year.
The Mets just pulled a Cleveland Browns move.
Jesus.
I'm just calling it like I see it.
I'm not trying to jump too much into this. I don't want to give a full preview of Thursday.
Right, I know. It's like, I know we were going to save something for Thursday.
Well, there's other things we'll talk about too, but this is everyone's sitting there like I have one of my fans at 609 is a Mets fan. He's asking like, why aren't you salty? Like, because you signed the greediest SOB in baseball. I saw that. There is no 26-year-old that is on the move from 4 teams in 5 years like that. If he's a free agent, that's different. Like Bryce Harper, he was a national his whole career, age 26, came to the Phillies. He's going to retire a Philly. Who trades that guy? Once. The Nationals traded him. Just 2 years removed from winning a World Series. The Padres traded him. Just being removed from an NLCS appearance. Why was that? You are seeing it now. Like I said, and I'm going to keep saying it, he did not find the right team to sign him. He found the team stupid enough to give him that contract. And oh boy, were the Mets just waiting at the door.
And it's like I know that we chatted a little bit about it yesterday. It's like, all right, where does this literally put them with Pete Alonso?
I don't
You
know.
because right now it's just like, well, okay, well, Pete, I guess there's the door.
Pete Alonso is more valuable to the Mets than Juan Soto ever will be.
Alonso just lost a bet. Yeah, unfortunately. But that is gonna, and I know that. Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, not if it requires them to actually pay him, because they ain't paying anybody.
I was gonna say they're just like Cleveland; they ain't paying squat.
He's
They're
going
one
to
of the
the
cheapest teams
Yankees.
out there. They have a damn Cy Young winner on the roster, and they can't even make a decent qualifying offer to him.
Well, did you see who they did? They did add a starting pitcher today. Did you see who they added?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Hey, Alex
really.
Cobb, like 3-4 years ago, was good, man.
Right. Unfortunately,
3-4
that's not the
years
guy we're
ago.
getting.
Tigers rumors up until today. Oh, there's a chance of a Jack Flaherty reunion. Tiger signed Alex Cobb.
There's a chance
Rod, go away.
of 70 degrees tomorrow.
Someone
It ain't gonna happen.
make Rod go away. Now he's pissing me off. Rod, go away. You would get on my nerves all night. Now you're pissing me off.
That's one of my high school boys right there, man. Easy,
I don't care.
easy,
I don't need the
easy,
Yankees getting another
easy,
one. Okay, damn it.
easy.
I'm sick and tired. Look, there is no one more mad and happy about freaking Juan Soto leaving the Yankees. Yankee fans deserve this. Okay?
Hey,
Let's go there first. They deserve this.
I know we're getting ready to get out of here because it's almost 11 o'clock. But I want to, because we haven't done a Bearded Bastards show in a very long time.
Oh dear
But
Lord, no.
no. But I have an FU guy of the week right now, and it's only Monday.
Wow, I'm honored that you would grace us with one of those on here.
Well, you're not gonna like me after I do it. There's a bill being voted on in Ohio, in the Ohio House of Representatives on Wednesday, and I'm going to have to give the FU guy of the week to the individual who brought that bill forth, and anybody who votes yes on it, because it will require teachers, administrators, and guidance counselors and school psychologists of high school and elementary school, or just of school age children, to out them to their parents and the public without that child's consent.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Yep.
Explain
that one more time.
Yeah, say that again, please.
Well, House Bill 8 in Ohio will force all teachers and school staff, including school counselors, therapists, social workers, and psychologists, to automatically out LGBTQ plus students to faculty and parents.
You guys already know my whole thing on
Politics. I get it. But here's the thing. We can't afford to put food on our tables, and they're voting on this dumb stuff. So F you.
Yeah, this is why I don't do politics. Dan, how the hell are you?
It's not enforceable yet. There, like I said, it's being voted on Wednesday.
Scuba isn't going anywhere. Tiger for life.
You actually got to pay him, and you actually got to have people in the organization that are willing to pay him. That's the problem. I would love for him to be a Tiger for life. I have seen zero indication that Scott Harris or any of the ownership is willing to do that. As I recall, there was an offer made to which I'm trying to remember if Boris is the agent for School or not, but the response was it was not a competitive offer. So they lowballed the hell out of him.
The Juan Soto deal is why there absolutely needs to be a salary cap in baseball. 100%. Daniel, go read about House Bill 8 in Ohio. It'll explain everything. I'm not going to get into it here because that's not what this show is for. I had an FU guy and I really needed to get it off my chest for a moment.
And I've said it before. I don't think MLB needs a cap. They need a floor.
Yeah.
you need every team in your league spending X amount of dollars.
They need both.
Yeah, the problem is adding a cap to existing contracts is sticky, complicated.
The Guardians, listen, the Guardians salary this year was like $98 million. And it was fifth in just the AL. Like, you remember, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago when $105 million was like the top, so the fact that these salaries are so exorbitant and so just out there, $765 million for a journeyman player. That's what he is. 4 teams in 5 years. He's a journeyman.
Yeah, like I said, it's a Kirk Cousins.
And let's be real, Yankees and Mets don't want a salary cap. Obviously,
nope.
They are perfectly.
Neither do the.
Here's the thing: in order to get a salary cap, you have to agree to certain things. The league has to agree to certain things. One of them being showing the books to the Players Association. They do. MLB will never agree to that because the last thing they want is it to become public knowledge how much some of these crappy teams get just by sitting there and not fielding a competitive organization.
Like Cleveland.
They make a
ton of Cleveland money. Cleveland is not a crappy team fielding an uncompetitive organization, especially when you make it to the ALCS.
With playing Moneyball. That's how they're doing it. They're playing the Moneyball.
They're not playing Moneyball as much as you think they are. They're still fielding a competitive team. When you are able to field a team that puts players in contention for postseason awards every year, you're not fielding an uncompetitive team.
Sam, are the Arizona Diamondbacks a competitive team?
You just said the Cleveland. You said Cleveland. You didn't say Arizona. You said Cleveland.
Right. It's same market. Same market.
No, it isn't. I called you bluff.
Yes, they are.
I called you bluff. Admit you're wrong and just.
They're the same market.
Hold on. The Diamondbacks, after getting to the World Series last off season, what did they do? They went out and signed Eduardo Rodriguez. They went out and traded for Eugenio Suarez. They attempted to get back there They were one game away from making the playoffs. They did go for it again. Their only problem was they play in a division with the Dodgers and the freaking Padres. The teams that he is talking about are teams like the Oakland A's that will be decent for 2 to 3 years, and then as soon as it's time to cough up some dough, trade Matt Chapman, trade Matt Olson, we're rebuilding again for the umpteenth time since 2001. And then you got teams like the Pirates who just refuse to try to compete at all. They develop a really nice player.
Hey, easy. Easy.
No, listen.
Oh man.
I'm just saying.
Go for it.
Are the Pirates going to try to take advantage of Paul Skeens before he leaves for the Yankees in 5 to 6 years? Because it's going to happen again because they don't spend shit in it anyway. This is why I don't care about caps and stuff. Wait, hold on. This is why I don't care about salary caps.
I'm just trying to get the Pirates to a 500 team, all right? I'm not worried about the playoffs.
And they're not
just
going to because they don't
season.
care. Well, all right. I'm just using them as an example, but here's my problem. I don't feel sorry for billionaire owners, okay? Oh, sweet. That's my problem here. I don't feel bad for billionaire owners that want to bitch and complain like, oh, I have to spend money? Yeah. That's how you kind of get better. Because here's the difference, right? Juan Soto's going to a team that's already kind of established, right? God, why are you doing this to me? I'm a Phillies fan. Why?
Right? Oh, Bruiser's not there to see the Pirates haven't been back since Jimmy Leland coached them. Yeah, that's true.
Let me just say this. If every team wanted to, every team in baseball could have offered Juan Soto that contract. Every team in baseball is owned by a freaking billionaire. So excuse me if I don't feel bad for billionaires who don't want to spend money. Because here's the thing, right? People talk about attendance in baseball. You know what attracts attendance in baseball? Not rule changes. You know what attracts baseball fans? When your team's freaking good and they win. You know how much money John Middleton's made off the Phillies since 2022? Probably about $1 to $2 billion. And that's probably just off the October playoff runs alone. I'm just that crazy guy that thinks, well, let me think. Am I going to show up to the ballpark when I know this team's going to win like 60 games? No. But if they're going to win 90 games, I may show up and watch that on a daily basis. So I don't feel bad for billionaire owners who want to be cheap. So I don't care what the salary, if they ever have a cap or not. Every team in baseball, yes, all 32 or whatever of them could have offered that contract to him. Because every one of these billionaire owners want to act like it's ruining the sport. They just don't want to spend the money.
Right.
The problem with baseball and the money is not that all 32 teams could pay that, or 30 teams, because they couldn't. They couldn't. Tampa Bay is not generating that kind of money because the thing that the NBA and NFL have over baseball is the national TV market and national games. Baseball is still very much regional sports networks like Yesson or Nesson in New England. Like those aren't going away. That's the unfortunate part. And the really dumb blackout rules that baseball has.
Oh my God, that is that drives me nuts with that.
I live 90 miles away from Pittsburgh, but I can't watch Pittsburgh games streaming here because I'm 90 miles away from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Let me we got to end the damn show.
Yes.
I'm going to throw some numbers really fast, though, just to prove a point, and I'm going to pick on everybody's favorite poster child, the Athletics.
That's fine.
Payroll
Sacramento
total
A's.
for this previous season, just over $62 million for their payroll. A while back, probably a couple of years now, we did a show where really quick I did some research and looked up how much does each individual team receive from national TV contracts, ESPN, etc. And each team received roughly 30 to 40 million just from that money. So right now, they're only on the hook for, say, 22 million out of the 62. So I just did a search. How much did Oakland receive in revenue sharing from other teams? In 2023, which is the last amount that we have right now, they received 27 million. And I guarantee you it went up this previous year. So they made $10 million without one ticket being sold, without one piece of merch being sold, without one bag of popcorn or one plate of nachos or one beer being sold. You need a salary floor because you need to force these teams to spend money and actually become competitive. And guess what? People will come and watch your damn game.
Fisher will never spend $2, better load $2 million.
Yeah.
George, and the damn
dude
show.
And the damn show.
Sam and I are doing. Sam's got the special hitting home 1 p.m. on Thursday. I'll share it to my page so that you guys can watch us as we are covering a lot from the winter meetings and God knows what else and who else signs. See y'all later. Say goodnight, Gracie.
That takes care of the 4 minutes. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night.
Good night. I said say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night.
Good night.
So I said, well, flip a coin. And if it comes out heads, have your hair dyed.
And if it comes out tails, say goodnight, Gracie.